If you're sitting on a chair, keep your feet down on the floor, completely grounded. If you're sitting in cross legs, again, keep your feet, buttocks grounded. We'll try to lift the entire vertebral column up by lifting all the muscles in the frontal plane. Lift the navel anteriorly. Elevate the rib cage up. Rotate your shoulders back. Collapse them. Bringing a nice gap between the vertebral bodies. Releasing the burden from the vertebral bodies. Releasing the pressure from the muscles. Relax the back of your head, crown. Focus on the tip of the nose or between the eyebrows. Keeping your body raised up and maintaining it up. Start breathing. Slowly observe yourself getting calm. Thoughts moving to a state of completely zero, slowly, gradually. Focusing on the breath alone. Now gently, we try to breathe deep and exhale deeper. Inhale. Exhale and collect all the weird, negative, bad stuff from within. Release it through the carbon dioxide. Breathe in. Feel pumped up. Relax at the same time. Exhale, release, let go, and purify yourself. Breathe in thoroughly. Breathe out and let go. Continue breathing, listening to the Dhyana shloka. Om Parasharya Vachaha Sarojamamalam Gītārthagandhotkatam Nānākhyanaka Kesaram Harikatha Sambodhana Bodhitam Loke Sajjana Shatpadairaharaha Pepiyamanam Da Bhuyatharata Pankajam Kalimala Pradhamsina Shreyase. Simple palming. So we did 2.666 previously, where we understood the beautiful connection through the question that Krishna had delivered. Nasti buddhihi ayuktasya nachayuktasya bhavana nacha bhavayata shantihi ashantaha tasya sukham. Ashantasya kutas sukham. The correlation between a yukta, a person who is perfect, balanced. How is he perfect and balanced? Only when he works on his sense organs. Only when he could master his sense organs, the aversions and the attractions created by the sense organs, he is said to be a perfect person. He is said to be a balanced person. So, your yukta, the bhavana, a person who has this meditative awareness and not lets go and withstand all the distractions for this meditative awareness of not staggering away from the truth. That is bhavana. And then shanti, shanti being the absolute peace, the peaceful existential awareness that one has got, and sukham, the eternal happiness. So we beautifully found out the correlation between yukta, bhavana, shanti, and sukha in the previous shloka. In continuation with that, we're going to deal with the next one, 2.67. Indriyanam hi charatam, Indriyanam hi charatam, Yanmano anuvidhiyate, Yanmano anuvidhiyate, Tadasya harati prajnam, Tadasya harati prajnam, Vayurnavamivambhasi, Vayurnavamivambhasi. Vayuhu navam ivambasi. That's the analogy Krishna brings in. Vayu means the terrible gale, the terrible wind, that can blow you off like the iceberg that can take the ship turn off, Just as the terrible wind blows and the boat trembles. Navam means the boat trembles on the waves of the ocean and it's about to tumble down, In the similar manner, what happens even when you have mastered your sense organs, even when you are in the journey of self-realization, progressing yourself step by step, mind, sense organs, intellect, emotional level, you're working everywhere. There are pranic disturbances, somebody has an evil eye and you people started to believe that also. Okay. Anyways, so any pranic disturbances for that matter, what happens? You're suddenly put to a state that this body is me. I have hurt myself, or he has hurted me. This situation had created this miserable, pathetic events. So what had happened? Suddenly, the mind and the sense organs, which had anchored itself in the self, suddenly something happened. Either it can be ecstasy. You won a lottery ticket of $1 million RON. What happens? Slowly, with that enjoyment, you go into the phase of what is I and what is not I. It's very easy. Not only in the troublesome situation, but it also happens honestly in the times of ecstatic moments. So when the mind is pulled that way, harati prajnam, It is not pulled. He uses the word harati. Harati means it steals away. You got to be very lucky to have the item that has been stolen away from you, right? Sometimes it becomes very difficult. What is stolen away is gone. You get to peace. Okay, this is gone. This is not for me. This is not destined for me. You try to satisfy yourself with that. So that's what the mind does. You mean my mind? Yes, my mind. My mind, even when found solace in Shavasana, hearing the whistles of the pot in the kitchen, the smell of the delicious vegetable that is being cooked, the mind steals away that awareness, pushes all the sense organs outside to the pot, to the dish. Is it wrong? Is it wrong, Lucia, to enjoy life? Is it wrong to have a casserole of good dish? No. But what is wrong? Why is the why is the boat trembling? The boat trembles only when the enjoyment is happening with the help of sense organs and mind. What is wrong here again? I enjoy with my mind. I enjoy with my sense organs. What is wrong here? When you do that, you don't realize that the mind and the sense organs are the tools, and you are not what you are. Why so? How so? Suddenly, you find the dish to be too salty. You come out of Shavasana and then have that food with all those expectations, too salty. Can't do anything about it, too salty. What happens now? Suddenly, the state of happiness itself turns into misery. Itself turns into an unfavorable event. To a person who is totally anchored in the self, even it is salty, even it is sweet, even it is nasty, everything he can have. I was listening to a great yogi, Bharata Yogishwara of Shrimad Bhagavatam, a scripture which is huge again, around 12 chapters, where it talks about the story of Jadabarada. He is called as Jada. Jada means even when he is found stout, he's a stout person, not stout and flabby, but very, very strong. He doesn't eat anything. That kind of yogi he was. For him, food is not the means to work with the body. He had gone to that stage. A great yogi he was. So in his story, it was mentioned, even when the food was unfavorable, even when the food was very minimum, he would happily eat, all smiling. How is it even possible? It is possible to a yogi, to a sadhaka, to a seeker, who keeps the mind and sense organs apart while enjoying the nature, while enjoying all the good things, bad things, experiencing the bad things of the universe. He had totally made that distinct apart from who he is. Things are happening, there is a play going on. I'm watching the play. I am what I am. The eyes are watching. Now, what happens when you are disturbed? Rewind yourself a bit. There is something in the play a dialogue which had created a disturbance in you, which had offended your belief system. Now, what do you find? Oh, this is wrong. I believe this thing to be true, and this particular person in the play is talking about something else. He is talking rubbish. You know, and this happens only when we try to engage in the worldly activities with the mind, sense organs, thinking ourselves to be body, mind, sense organs, intellect, and this particular entire complex to be us. Ramana Bhagavan was watching similarly a great Nataka, great play, where there were songs, beautifully sung, well orchestrated Carnatic music, violins, venas, flutes, a great singer, doing the part. A person comes up and says, "Oh, how good the Ramayana story was done, how good he had depicted." Bhagwan, how do you feel? Bhagwan said, "It was as it was. It is as it is." He said, "Why? Why don't you appreciate?" I said, he says, "The problem with you is acting through mind. My problem is I do not know how to act through mind." The intervention of mind and sense organs will make your awareness, self-awareness stolen away. And this will make your boat tremble. Okay, you've heard enough. I have spoken enough. When will I keep my boat steady? How can my boat steadily go on these waters of samsara, waters of this suffering? Universe is suffering, Universe in Sanskrit is called samsara. And what is the exact literal meaning of samsara? Collection of suffering. Can you believe that? So how to get to the shore of this ocean of samsara, ocean of suffering? You are the boat. This body is the boat, This body is a great opportunity. Having a boat is also a great opportunity. What happens when your city is flooded? At least you got the boat, right? So this is a huge opportunity to have this body as a boat to cross over this waters. Is a great opportunity. This body is the boat. What happens when the seafarer of the boat, when a small technician of the boat takes this boat to the ocean? What happens? The boat will never meet its shore. The boat might stumble, and it will bring all the persons in the boat and the seafarer down to the ocean, right? Why? Because there is no helpsman who can steer the boat. The helmsman knows how to steer even when there is tornadoes, even when there are disturbances in the ocean because of the gale. So this seafarer, this body, this nava, this body needs a person, the Jivatman, the seafarer, and also a helmsman, a guarder, a protector, a guider, one who can guide, steer your lives. Who is that? That is your Guru. That is Lord Himself. Now I see my Lord within, I will get all the directions from within. My God, you are a person who is listening to the seafarer again. You need that support, that alambana. In spiritualism, we call it as support, the alambana, the pillar. The support who can steer your life, who can unfurl the mass of the sails. Shrimad Bhagavatam here gives the same example of Nava, ocean, of the boat, ocean, where it says there should be a person, the seafarer has to know how to unfurl the sails. What are those sails? The mast of the boat. They are Shraddha and Bhakti. Intense devotion and dedication to the practice, determination to the practice. How will it come? How will it come? Only with the help of the steerer, the helmsman, the guru. Or if you don't have a guru, at least seek that ego surrender aspect that you can do with the favorite deity, Ishta Devata, the Lord that whom you favor of, the person whom you feel, yes, he can be my guru. He is not with you. He is not with you. He is already destined to be in his worlds. He is not before you, but he is there for you. Bhagavatam says, Shraddha, Bhakti, Guru, all three is needed, just like the helmsman, the sails, for this body called boat, for this seafarer called Jivatman, the tiny individual consciousness, who is constantly struggling to go across this samsara, the world of suffering, the ocean of suffering. What else is needed? Ego surrender. Only through Shraddha Bhakti, ego surrender happens. Prajna. Here, Krishna uses the word prajnam. Prajnanam Brahma, says Upanishad. Prajna is the consciousness, the innate awareness of who you are, what you are, that self-inquiry leading yourself to that state of absolute state of silence is Brahman, is the consciousness, is what you have to realize. It's not outside. It is not outside. Now, how to strike that prajna? The prajna is staggering. The intelligence is staggering because of the mind. The mind, the sense organs pulls the mind steals away the prajna. Mind steals that innate consciousness. Because of this ego. Ego is not being proud, jealous, angry, lustful. No, no. Ego is wrong understanding of who you are. This particular thing is going to make me pleasant. When I do this, this will give me happiness. When I do that, this is going to terrify me, scare me off. I am insecure because of the situations outside created. People are insecure. Family is insecure. Where are we going? All sorts of thoughts arise because of that identity that we try to entail in this body, mind, and seeking that this body is me and all the actions that is done by this body is mine. This is what the play of ego does. This is that great magic that ego does. And easily takes off, steals off the awareness. Once when you find yourself to be the mother, to be the teacher, to be the, what do you call, to be the husband, to be the executive, or to be someone who can give command to the colleagues or takes the command from the boss. All these roles will make you, roles playing will make you identify yourself with the role. That is the play of ego. So what do you say? What is the say here? I should stop doing all actions. No, we had had enough of Karma Yoga discussions where Krishna says, not doing any action is the biggest foolish mistake one can ever do. And at the same time, he also says how the path of action is like the edge, walking at the edge of the sword. It can cut you through. But again, walking on the edge of the sword is mastery. How do you master your actions? So actions should lead you to a place where you are enlightened. The wisdom shines forth when your actions are performed. Yogaha karmasu kaushalam. Kushalata, perfection in action is that. That is yoga. What kind of perfection? Do you do it 10% right? Do you do all the things, all the factors necessary? Do you count all the risks that the action has to encounter with and then remove them? No, no, no intellectual business here. It is simply rooting out the attachment, rooting out the expectation from the action. How is it done? Ego surrender. I am not the doer. I am not the possessor. How can it happen when I'm doing the action? I feel I do it. How can I just take that away, take that perspective away? Only when you understand that you are a tool, you are an instrument, you're brought in here by him. So what do you need there? Will you surrender your emotions to your consort? No. Will you surrender yourself to your friend? Not at all. You know her very well. Will you surrender yourself to your kids? You're my kids. They should listen to me. Surrender of ego, the surrender of being myself as a possessor or the enjoyer or the achiever or the doer. All those beings can be surrendered unto that infinite principle, not to any. Cannot happen to any other. If you find that infinity in the Guru, who unblemishingly finds only infinite consciousness everywhere and not works for selfish purposes, you find him to be the Guru. You find that infinite principle in him. Then ego surrender happens. Then you surrender. It is you who do. It is you who does. I'm just an instrument. Let things roll. Sorry to be regional here. It becomes very natural for an Indian to do this, It is a natural tendency for Bharatiya to do this. Why? Perhaps as a child, I was told by a person of Switzerland, when I walked over the shore and saw there was not a piece of dirt, dust, polythene, paper on the seashore. Yeah. So that fellow was telling me this is how it happens. As a child, we tend them in such a manner not to throw any piece of dust, dirt, trash in the outside. Not to dirty, make the nature shabby. That is your responsibility, Similarly, in India, I do not know whether ego surrender happens or not, but this particular philosophy, this particular lesson is taught to every single child. You're not the doer. You're not the doer. There is lemon and spoon race. It's a famous race for all the KG kindergarten kids, where the the kid holds a spoon and the lemon is kept and he has to walk in the race. It looks so funny. You have to watch that. And there are a few kids in the line. That's the first competition that every Indian school will have. And these kiddos will start to walk to their destination. Someone will stumble, some drop the lemons, some starts to fight with the spoon. All things happen. All funny things happen. And the kid comes to the mom. Mom, I lost. And the lesson that the mom gives is, losing is what God wanted you here. You should taste loss. You're just a tool to understand this. It is ought to happen this way. And she seems happy. And looking at her happy, he is also happy. Hence, you find there is so much chaos in the road, in the traffic, in the system, in the political administration. There are more pits on the road than the road. There are more buffaloes and cows and dogs on the road than the road. It becomes a natural response for an Indian that everything will be all right. Everything is ought to happen this way. To the height of severe terrorist attacks that we years after years have to endure, we go to the state of sukha very easily. We go to the state of relaxed state very easily because this is ought to happen. Corona, the COVID times, we started to pray. There were a group who started to pray Corona as a deity, as Mother Kali. Can you believe? So this ought to happen. We are just tools. This is ought to happening. That kind of ego surrender becomes very natural. We will also try to imbibe that natural tendency of going to the sukha back, going to that immense state of peace back. This ought to happen. This ought to happen through me. This ego surrender is inevitable. It's an important part in spiritualism. And without that, all the boats, all the bodies will tremble, will shiver in fear, in anxiety, rooted in ignorance. What do you need? Conclusively, what do you need? You need those sails, Shraddha and Bhakti. You need that helmsman who can steer the boat. You need that expert who can steer you directly to the right destination, guide you properly. That guru or the Lord whom you perfectly believe in, whom you have from the bhavana, from the meditative awareness, from the emotional mandala, which we were mentioning in the previous shloka, from the emotional mandala, from the bhava mandala has affinity to. And then the boat is set right. It can slowly sail itself to the shore one day. I think we'll stop here and open for questions.